1%. This is it.
I'm down.
Yes,
Come on.
come on.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Nuke it. Nuke it. Come on.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's doing big things in the Holy Monk community.
Fucking holy monk.
Holy monk, dude. It's like the special ed to our team, I swear to God.
Like, bro, you had the fucking eye and you didn't pass it, you piece of shit. You need to fucking die. Jesus.
Alright, kill Archimon.
Kill him.
2%!
2%.
Come on, give me that big dick damage!
Legends Anonymous is the greatest guild in Azeroth. It's the kind of guild that takes years of experience and wisdom to foster, and that's something that we've created here as the co-guild leaders.
I started on World of Warcraft in November of 2008. My brother, Dr. Legend, kind of goaded me into it. I had never been an MMO guy. I had been a Warcraft fan back when it was an RTS, but MMOs were not for me at the time. They weren't something I thought I'd ever be interested in.
So I started playing WoW in November of 2008 after Wrath of the Lich King released. And I had joined a couple guilds that were established by my friends and had some fun, but a lot of the guilds that I was a part of didn't have the kind of atmosphere that I was looking for.
The guilds were fun, but they weren't really, they were just guilds in name only. They were glorified pugs with a guild bank and a name.
And so I decided with a group of my close friends that we were going to start our own guild, because that's what you do in WoW. When you want something better, you go and grab it for yourself. So I ran a guild called Easily Offended for just over a year.
By the time we got to Kata, a lot of people had left. Guild hopping had become quite trendy, and I had just had enough. I just needed a break.
And the guild ended up disbanding right when Kata launched. We had some players just nothing tragic happened, but most of the players that left were just seeking their fortunes elsewhere. They didn't want to play WoW anymore, and which was unfortunate.
So my brother had gotten a hold of me. I had played sporadically through Miss Pandaria, but right when Siege of Orgrimmar came out, he had came to me and said, "Hey, let's start up a guild. Let's just do it. Let's take a shot in the dark. Let's start a guild. Let's play together. Let's have some fun." And we did. And we started Gods Among Legends.
But at the time, I didn't have much free time available.
Unfortunately for my brother, he was getting married.
And so we were really busy planning the wedding, and so we had to take a break from WoW.
So he couldn't dedicate 100% into the guild. In fact, I think after a few weeks, he had just stopped logging in, and the guild essentially became mine. I had become the sole dictator and guild leader.
My brother was left to tend to the guild all by himself, which was unfortunate that I couldn't be there to help him out.
Thank you for showing up. Good turnout this week, probably your best turnout. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. We progressed really well this week. When Gods Among Legends got started, I didn't really know what I was doing. I learned that running a guild took a lot of hard work, and that you had to dedicate a lot of your own personal time outside of raids to make the guild go. Just because I have this week off and I want to get people geared up, there's a lot of hungry people that are trying to get geared up, and I'm going to try and get at least one full flex clear a week. At first it was kind of casual. It was just, hey, let's show up and raid. But as we kept going into Siege, and because there was such a long content drought, we made a run for it and started raiding hardcore. And we had done decently well.
It's a win. It's a win. It's a fucking win! Yeah! Oh my god!
The trials and tribulations of hardcore raiding, coupled with the fact that I learned a lot of tough lessons running that guild for the first time. I learned that you have to recruit properly, and I learned that you can't make everybody happy. So the guild ended up disbanding.
Towards the tail end of Pandaria, when we both kind of stopped playing for a few months, that it was unfortunate. The guild we had called Gods Among Legends dissolved.
And I know Luis was really itching to play WoW again.
And I started playing again with my wife. And after a while, I was like, okay, this is kind of fun again. You know, a new expansion will be out.
As Warlords approached, I had actually sworn off WoW, and I had no interest in playing WoW ever again. But a real-life friend of mine, he lived a few streets down from me, he came over to my house, and we were just talking, and he had mentioned, you know, hey, Warlords is going to be fully flex on normal and heroic difficulties. What do you think about playing again? And I thought it was a pretty decent idea, but as soon as I came home and I hit up my brother on Skype, and he was actually playing WoW and LFR. He was playing Siege of Orgrimmar LFR, and he said, "Dude, let's just play WoW again. Let's get the band together. Let's get some friends together, and let's play some fucking WoW."
When he said, hey, I want to start a new guild, I was like, yeah, go for it. It'll be awesome.
If we're going to do a new guild, I got to be more committed, and we need to do it right.
WoW has been like an integral part of our life and our relationship.
And we cannot do and make the same mistakes that we did in the past, where my guild was too community-based and casual, and Gods Amongst Legends was too hardcore raid focused, and we need to strike a perfect balance between the two.
And I thought it was a great idea. We didn't really know exactly how all of it was going to play out.
We talked for a while, and we hashed out the vision for Legends Anonymous, which was a community-driven guild that focused on in-game events, but also fostering the proper community. We had a very specific culture and attitude in mind when we wanted to form the guild.
We had learned from our mistakes. I think my brother, when he ran Easily Offended, I think he learned a lot about what it took to run a guild, and I think I learned a lot of what it took from the raid leading aspect, but also what we wanted.
Which was bring the player, not the spec. We can teach you how to play the game, but we cannot fix a bad attitude.
We didn't want to raid hardcore, but we didn't want to be a Care Bear guild. And we took both of those concepts and combined them together to make Legends Anonymous.
When people think of who we are as a guild, you'll see a variety of players with hundreds of years of experience combined amongst them.
My name is Tom.
Vanessa.
Jake.
Daryl.
Josh.
Dave.
Michael.
James.
Zebdu.
Dakota.
Hayden.
My druid is known as Frumpy Anna within the guild.
Castiel.
Bandit.
Grandmumper.
Manifesto.
Mormont. Failure. Serene. Shakota.
F-Shack.
Zelgadis.
Smashbox.
We just started raiding in Siege of Orgrimmar towards the end of Mists of Pandaria, just to have fun, just to get the band together, just so everyone gets to know each other.
We were doing a lot of raids through Siege of Orgrimmar, kind of getting to know each other.
And so they can kind of get the feel of what we're going after.
Come on. Uh-oh. I'm mind controlled, guys. The GM's gonna push her shit.
Both GMs.
Oh shit, yeah, get him!
Come on, kill this guy. 5%, guys. 3%.
And I think one of the things my brother did very well was he really lightened the mood. He showed everybody that this guild is all about fun and enjoying the game and using the game as a giant canvas to entertain each other.
I had this great idea. You know, let's test the waters a little bit. So I would play music during raids.
Oh my god.
Legends Anonymous is a brotherhood because it was started by two brothers that care about each other, and it blossomed into over 100 brothers and sisters that cared about each other.
So recruitment began, and Legends Anonymous hit the ground running. My brother was in charge of recruiting people and bringing people in.
It's something that I'm actually pretty good at. I'm really good at just buckling down and talking to people and selling people on this dream.
We're just two brothers who decided, hey, we've got this great, wonderful idea for how a guild should be run and what a guild should be, and we're hoping that we could find some like-minded people to share in that vision.
One of the key things that my brother had told me was that Rome wasn't built in a day. And every time I felt frustrated, I would remember him saying that to me. So we took the pace slow, we took our time with recruitment, and we were really looking for friends. We weren't looking for an elemental shaman that could do belts on Siegecrafter. We were looking for good people, and we took our time.
I'm kind of the OG of Legends Anonymous. I was part of its first iteration, which used to be called Gods Among Legends.
I initially joined it because I just wanted a guild to raid with, but as I kind of started to get to know you guys better and get into raids with you and see how you guys functioned, I realized that it was less about the raiding and more about the community that I've been missing.
I wanted more than just a raiding guild. I wanted a community. I wanted a family, and I just couldn't find that.
And I thought the overall goal of the guild sounded like a pretty good deal.
All I really want out of the game, I want a social aspect and I want to get some bosses down.
The thing that got me is I signed into TeamSpeak, or I think we were using mobile at that time, and just listened to the conversations that were taking place, the smart things that were being said, the funny things, and I knew I had found my new home.
I thought, what the hell? I'll give these guys a try.
Besides having my child, I would say it's probably one of the best things that's happened to me.
But they chose to be with us because of our culture.
Warlords launch to me felt like this was going to be our proving grounds, if you will. This was going to be the expansion where we get to establish ourselves and establish the guild.
The first real true test of Legends Anonymous was High Mall.
Now, High Mall was more of an appetizer for what was to come for Warlords of Draenor.
Overall, High Mall was great. Being a first raid with the guild and the start of an expansion, it was absolutely beautiful.
Raiding in High Mall was cool because it was my first time back raiding in a long time.
Oh, High Mall was some of the best raiding that we've had.
I remember stepping into High Mall, first raid in bad gear.
And let's face it, we were a ragtag group of misfits. A lot of our players hadn't played since Burning Crusade. A lot of our players hadn't raided full-time at all.
So it was a test of the personalities, it was a test of the community, and it was a test to see if this idea worked.
While it was fun, for me it was really nervous because as the raid leader, it's pretty much on the raid leader to make sure that the raid goes well, where my brother was paying more attention to making sure that people were showing up and people were in a good mood, and he was cracking jokes, where on my end I was like, we need to kill these bosses in an ample fashion so that way we can prove ourselves.
You know, we were all just kind of learning each other, feeling each other out.
We were all going to come together to see what we were made of.
Going into High Mall, I thought, well, how bad could it be?
There was the Ring of Fire.
Orsteiner Andrasti. This is why we keep some range, guys, because this hurts.
I remember mines on Imperator.
Some people in our guild kept repeatedly stepping on mines.
I'm really sorry.
Shut up. Nuke Diaz, nuke the boss, nuke the boss.
The worst boss ever, Twin Orgron.
If this is a Dragon Ball Z fight, we'd all be screaming for the next 10 minutes.
Aww.
What the fuck was that?
Marcus falling in the tiger pits.
It was the tiger pits. Not because we died in them, but because Marcus died in them.
Constantly and consistently falling into tiger pits.
Okay, this one might hurt a little bit.
Oh fuck, I fell in the tiger pit.
Wow.
I fell in them once.
All the time.
I seem to recall there being a rather prominent member of leadership who may have been notorious for that.
You know, this is bullshit because it's not like those tiger pits were small. These were huge tiger pits.
It's so big. How do you miss it?
Marcus, I'm sure you were probably berating someone for doing it or telling someone not to do it only to fall in yourself shortly after.
It's like he lived in the damn place.
What are you doing, Marcus?
You know, there's a bunch of tigers outside in a grand that they don't one-shot me. How come these tigers have to one-shot me?
You must be a big bitch.
That seems to be kind of a thing for him.
I swear, if he fell in the tiger pit one more time, he'd have to set his hearthstone to that place.
That was probably one of my favorite moments.
And then to end it with Imperator, what an awesome fight.
You know, we just took it by the balls.
Come on, give me that big dick damage, boys.
Big dick damage!
Big dick damage, come on.
2 mil, go guys, go!
Push. 1%, this is it. Ah!
Fuck yeah!
Andric sucks!
Fuck all of you!
What are you chicken dinner?
Good fucking
Oh my god.
We even set up one of our most famous catchphrases, the famous Legends Anonymous last pull.
All right, let's do this, guys. Recorders ready?
The non-roleplay Legends Anonymous last pull.
We were going into Heimall facing Brackenspore.
First Brackenspore normal kill was really exciting.
Just burn the boss.
Ah! Kill him! Yes! Yeah! Woo!
Brackenspore, calling it Blackenspore, calling it Zell's uncle.
My uncle Blackenspore.
Brackenspore might seem like a joke to a lot of people, but for us, it was our first real test.
It's one of those things that was extremely frustrating at the time.
And we were able to down the boss on our last pull of the night.
I got a weapon, and I'm kind of a gear snob.
That's right, baby!
I got my bull!
That really set the tone for the remainder of the expansion and also the guild, because we proved that not only did our idea work, it thrived.
I was really proud of everybody the night we did that.
And we had a great time.
The camaraderie blossomed in Heimall. It was an awesome experience.
Some of the best raiding that we've had as a guild came from Heimall. It's a raid that is true to my heart.
The moment that we had scored that achievement for ahead of the curve, there's a collective sigh that kind of fell over the guild after we were cheering, because now in my heart I knew we've made it.
Kyle's kind of like graduating high school. Okay, you got your diploma, now we're going to send you off into the real world.
Getting a huge success like that so early on in the expansion was a huge win for Legends Anonymous.
Blackrock Foundry was the first large raid that had been released in Warlords of Draenor, and in fact I think it's probably one of the better raids they've ever released.
I remember we went into Blackrock Foundry and we had a great time. I loved all the wings. I loved everything about the raid.
It was great. It was an awesome raid. It was pretty epic, unlike Heimall. So Heimall was a good raid, but unfortunately it wasn't big. It didn't have that kind of epic feel to it.
Really, we were just having a good time, and we were kicking ass too. We were killing bosses.
Nuke his fucking ass down. Excellent job, guys. Picture fucking perfect. The blink smash.
Let's get some help.
Kill this fucker. Kill this fucking bitch. Can roll on my fucking
Left.
3%.
Every fight is something new.
There were some great bosses out there.
Some of the bosses were pretty cool as well, like really cool mechanics.
Blast Furnace was my all-time favorite fight.
Blast Furnace was a blast only because they made that fight feel and kind of act like an end raid boss.
Yes.
4%!
Pain spread.
2%!
Yes! Oh my god!
Boom!
We didn't really struggle much.
Granny falling under the world on the hooks for Iron Maidens.
I did that a lot, actually.
That was pretty great. He always finds a new way to die.
Operator Thogar, which was really fun. Something new that we hadn't seen. It wasn't really a vehicle fight, but it did involve some trains.
Thogar was, it's Thogar. Trains flying all over the place, people getting hit and flying into the air.
Pay attention, guys.
Totally.
I remember oodles of train puns.
Everybody loved my train puns on Operator Thorgar.
The train puns never ended.
You need a lot of training.
They were so bad yet so good at the same time.
To stay on track, to not get derailed.
I really, really tried to be patient with him, but sometimes my brother's an ass.
to conduct yourselves properly to kill that fight.
That mechanic was definitely something to laugh at throughout progression.
Black Hand is a giant pain in my ass.
Fuck Black Hand.
Literally, you can call the guy Brown Hand because that's where it was the whole time, just grinding me day after day, pull after pull, night after night.
That motherfucker is probably the hardest boss I think I've ever done.
Black Hand was a little bit of a bitch.
I'm gonna bop this hit.
The harder it is, and the more try, and the more you go through, the more satisfying it was a kill when you get that kill. And I think it was really a growing point for our guild.
Black Hand was extremely difficult, and it wasn't because we couldn't understand the mechanics. It was the fact that some people ignored the mechanics.
Particularly, I remember on Black Hand, not being able to get out of the way of mines.
Rally here.
Watch out, melee.
I ran over everyone, and I got a lot of grief for that. All over, everybody.
Blizzard, you really outdid yourselves. Great fight, great design, but I've never been bonked more times in the face by one boss than that dude.
That 0.1% wipe was bullshit.
That was brutal.
I have to say, it still haunts me to this day.
I can't even describe that feeling.
That felt like we got shit on, the biggest shit that could ever be shit on.
Come on, 1%.
Wings up, Marcus.
Cool down. Use tonics. Use tonics.
Come on, 1%. Come on, Pope Bubble. Bubble, come on!
When we got down and people were screaming because we knew that we had him, we were just cheering.
I started screaming like, oh my god, we killed him, we killed him.
And I see people dropping left and right, left and right.
Everyone started down.
And the boss's health is going down. And you're like, oh my god, we're finally going to do it.
Just when we thought we were gonna get it.
Come on! Come on! Oh my god! Oh my god! Come on! Kill him! Fucking die! Come on!
Get this bomb off me!
Oh, Zell.
DPS him!
Oh my
Zell. Oh my.
Oh!
34K.
God damn it, dude!
Oh
Someone
my
killed me with a
God.
bomb right at the very end. Like they wouldn't move off of me.
I got hit with impaling.
You know that feeling when you get kicked in the balls and somebody rubs your face in the mud and somebody pours sugar in your gas tank and somebody fucks your mother in the ass? That's how that felt.
It was amazing that we got that far and that we almost had killed it.
It was unfortunate that we got so close to downing him for the first time.
When you get a 1% wipe, it's hard to get upset. It's to me, it's a sign that we've learned it. We're ready to kill it.
It's a crazy feeling to get a 0.1% wipe, but you're like, oh my god, that's something I'll remember for like the rest of my gaming career.
After that 0.1%, everyone was kind of on edge.
Burn, guys, burn.
1%.
I'm down.
Yes,
Come on.
come on.
Come on. Come on!
Point
Run! Here we go! Come on!
Here
Come on! Here it comes!
Bright eyes.
Come on, deter!
Cooldowns.
Defeating Black Hand was a very triumphant moment for us as a guild.
Finally getting Black Hand was, it was honestly, it was like exercising a demon for me.
A very satisfying kill.
Everything blew up. It was the most amazing thing ever.
I had onked when I did not ask. And threw out a lava burst.
300K.
DPS him, DPS him.
30
Touch of death! Come on!
Yes!
50.
When we finally killed him, the nerd screams were amazing.
What you know
Oh my
about
god!
that J Lightning?
Oh my god!
Rock and roll's gold.
Yes!
When we killed Black Hand, that was just a moment where we had persevered through some tough times.
And I think it solidified the core of Legends Anonymous, especially more on the rating aspect of it.
It was an amazing feeling. It was like we set out a goal and we accomplished it as a guild. It was awesome.
I know amongst TeamSpeak, it was like the most amazing feeling. It was better than Imperador.
We really felt like we accomplished something, getting through that, and it just, brought us all together.
Oh my god, we did it.
Gold. Fuck you, Blackhand. You're dead for Marad.
The feeling when you persevere through something that's difficult like that in WoW is second to none. It makes it all that sweeter.
I felt like I contributed finally I contributed something great towards Legends Anonymous.
Because we persevered through that, we came out as a better guild on the other side.
So for us, it was a monumental achievement.
We had finished and completed the most difficult challenge of the expansion with this new guild based on a new idea, formulated just a few months beforehand. And we not only came in and came out winners, we came out champions.
We were over the hump, and everything was farm content from there.
After Blackrock Foundry, a lot of us felt disheartened. And it wasn't because that there was any problems with the guild. It was another major problem, that there were problems with the game.
You know, Legends Anonymous is a great guild, but we weren't immune to the subscription drought.
This was the first expansion that we're kind of building our footing.
Going into Hellfire, when we lost a good amount of our top raiders, which I would consider are really good players, it really was disheartening. At the same time, I knew as a guild and as a family, we really weren't, it wasn't going to affect us.
And we sustained, I think, 50% or more roster loss.
It was a pretty big blow.
Not people leaving the guild for other guilds, but people just quitting the game altogether.
They just didn't want to play World of Warcraft anymore.
My subscription fee isn't worth this content anymore.
If I wasn't running the guild myself, I probably would have taken a break.
And that was tough to deal with.
Now, after people were leaving, it wasn't more about, well, does this guild work anymore? It was, can WoW sustain a population?
I honestly had doubts that we would make it into Hellfire Citadel and go deep.
No matter how great your community is, how much fun you're having, how much you like the people, if your game isn't giving people the satisfaction of playing anymore, then no one's going to stick around.
Once Hellfire was starting, it was heart-wrenching for the team.
People we lost may not have been the closest to us.
It happens in WoW. You lose people, you find new people.
So it was hard to see some people leave.
People come and go, but as a guild, we'll probably always be here.
I really had to buckle down and start recruiting.
So we had to find a really big balance on how to keep people invested and interested and stick with us.
I honestly did not have a fear that we wouldn't find people, because there's always people looking for a guild, and we were lucky enough to find some of the best people.
We never had a problem we've not been able to overcome.
Stuff happens that's outside of your control sometimes, and you know, life gives you lemons, make lemonade type of thing.
The recruiting methods that Legends Anonymous has used for quite some time has been very consistent in finding guild members who are at the very least going to be fun to play with and on some level talented, or at the very least teachable.
We found some great new players.
I was prepared to do my very best to help out whoever needed it,
so that when we ventured into the next patch and next breadth of content, that they would not only be there and stick around with us, but still maintain that same level of dedication and passion that they had when we originally started.
I was actually initially kind of excited for Hellfire Citadel, but all the stress of going through what we were going through, I didn't really enjoy it as much as I had hoped I was going to enjoy it.
Hellfire Citadel should have been the culminating moment for Warlords of Draenor.
I was excited because this was my first time being able to start raiding progression at the very beginning of a tier.
And I'll be honest with you, every single raid night I had butterflies in my stomach, hoping everyone was going to log in.
As a guild, we had a lot of fun going in there. It was great to fight new bosses and have a new enthused Legends Anonymous tackling a new raid tier.
And Hellfire Citadel was kind of the big deal. It was the end raid for the expansion.
And hopefully we were going to have enough people to raid.
It showed our maturation as a guild. We were very efficient.
Everybody was excited. We had new members.
The night that everybody kind of got introduced to me was kind of fun.
Lots of personalities.
There was a lot of good moments.
We saw them develop further, new personalities come up.
Even during the raid where the jokes are flying, the bosses are falling.
Gran has cemented himself as the personality of the guild.
Granny.
Granny.
You know, Gran, he's a character.
Granny is so funny.
He's doing great things in the feral community.
Best feral I've ever seen.
Gran Mumper is a man who is very much known for doing big things.
I mean, what can you say about Gran Mumper?
Gran is always someone that puts a smile on your face, making some of the most hilarious puns.
He always has something funny to say and makes us all just break out in laughter.
Death, cliffs, I mean, doing big things. There's so many different granny memes.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Conversations that we have are ridiculous.
He's got these lines that like just turn into signature guild catchphrases.
The human slogan machine.
Big bitch. I got a good brain, sir. Did it.
Doing big things.
Say whatever you want, Grant. Go ahead, let it out. I want to hear it. This is going to be the new thing, whatever Granny says right now.
He accidentally dumped catering on his face again. Couldn't see the screen.
Everything that comes out of his mouth makes you laugh.
Grant, you already made that joke.
I know, I have to hammer it away. That's how Granny works. How do you think you're not wrong,
Until-
stuck around so long?
Yeah, till it's funny.
Hammer it away.
He's like, I said, Gino.
See, that's funny.
He's always quick and witty.
We could go on for days telling stories about his antics.
Leave it up to him to either do something stupid or say something funny.
I'm trying to emulate Grant as best as possible, jumping off all the ledges every
You
single
have protein powder all over your keyboard?
Get rid of your mustache.
What's HP?
Horsepower.
Falling off the ledge on Zulrak repeatedly. Dude needs a fucking harness to play WoW.
He brings a lot of comedic relief to any situation.
The guy plays WoW blindfolded.
Dying on Manaroth by himself, not near any mechanics. I still have no idea how he did that.
And look who's dead. We're not even near the cliff, Granny! Did you fucking find one?
He's always doing big things, whether it's in game or out.
He has asthma.
I'm pretty sure he is single-handedly keeping Olive Garden in business.
He can't do cardio.
I swear, this guy could find a cliff in a circular walled room.
That man will find a way to die with nothing there to kill him.
The biggest thing holding him, and honestly the guild back, is his lack of jogging on a treadmill.
While also poking fun at himself at times.
Gran is like having the situation from Jersey Shore in your guild.
Everybody tells me that I'm Gran, that I'm from Jersey, and I talk like this.
He's talking like this about his wooter.
Get me a glass of water.
Hey, taxis are green.
Bunch of dicks.
If you had to like hang out with anybody in the guild, I feel like most of the people would be like, I want to hang out with Gran.
He's a really sweet guy.
He's funny and he's a good guy at the same time.
One of the funniest characters I've ever had the pleasure to meet.
But most of all, we love Gran because he's Gran.
Being able to be just with these guys and everything that they do is a lot funnier than me.
And going into Hellfire, we were just happy to have content. And it was nice to see something new and something different. There was nothing else to do until Hellfire came out.
So we stepped in here, Hellfire Citadel. Everything is on fire. Everything is green.
During Manaroth progression, beyond just Marcus yelling, "Rally the gays."
Rally the gays.
A typical thing Marcus could possibly say even in real life.
On Zolarak, me blinking off the edge.
Out, kill them.
Oop.
Really?
Are
you
fucking...
Did you
fucking go off the
yes! I'm staring at his fucking corpse right now! What the fuck, Gran? Are you fucking kidding me?
Only one to successfully displace her beast off of ramp and out of the fight.
You know what, Gran?
Jesus, we were making fun of you for this like 10 seconds ago!
And then Serene the next week to do the same thing.
Did you just take a swan dive?
I pulled a Gran. Yes, I did. I like to think that I took one for the team because that ended up being our progression kill.
When the Infernals came out and he said, "Go, go, Disco Infernals."
Disco Infernals.
You had Zakoon, which was a boss that, funny enough, we killed this boss in normal, did not learn anything. We had no idea what the mechanics were.
Come on.
Oh,
Nice job. Two-shot, dude. What
Nice.
The Manaroth kill, where we had, I think, just like 2 or 3 people up at the very end, and it looked like we were going to go for a wipe.
Wouldn't walk down.
Marcus was calling for a wipe.
Is it, boys?
And everyone was like, oh man, not another sub 1% wipe.
Archimond was the biggest pain I've had to endure in a long time.
I think Archimon is a hard fight that we did exceptionally well in.
Archimon is a very interesting encounter.
You kind of had every piece.
There's a lot going on that needs to be paid attention to.
That one became so mindless.
There's a stack phase.
Soak it, soak it.
Yeah,
soak
madam.
Messing up rock chaos.
Don't stand on the
One
purple
break.
ship.
Everyone has to be on top of their game.
There's a spread phase.
Be spread, guys. Be spread.
Messing up the nether phases.
Another team 5.
Other team, get ready.
There really is no room for error.
Dropping fire in the raid.
Reign of Chaos. Survive, guys. Survive. Focus on survival.
Towards the end, where we finally got the kill, I didn't remember what was going on in the first 2 phases because we blew through them.
I know a lot of guilds had trouble with him, even on heroic as mythic guilds.
And it was all last phase, and it was so intense in the last minute and a half of that fight.
Are you breaking?
Hemming.
Okay, who's gonna go for sack?
You and that's Shack.
Okay.
Shadow.
Break 1.
That real core of our guild grew through Hellfire and is in a really good place now.
Finally killing Archimond was such a relief in so many ways.
I was really happy. I was excited, of course.
Nuke it. Come on!
We got him.
Oh my god! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Oh my god.
Good
Holy
fucking
fuck,
show, guys.
finally.
Legend Anonymous last pull!
After Hellfire ended and after we conquered it, it just felt empty inside.
At the same time, I was really sad, though, because it was the last progression kill of this expansion.
What are we gonna do next week? We're done.
I couldn't wait to get out of there. I was so happy that we were done.
I knew there would still be more in activities that we would do, but it would be the last time we would get that feeling.
So it was this bittersweet moment, but definitely one that I'll remember.
I made a whole bunch of new friends along the way.
And the only victory that we got out of Hellfire Citadel was uniting the guild in a huge achievement.
And I can say, okay, we've cleared the tier. We can work on the community.
I think it shows that even though you're not hunting for those super high elitist and hardcore players, you can find good players hiding underneath great personalities.
What makes Legends Anonymous different is Legends Anonymous recruits the person, not the class.
And the reason why we are so successful is because we don't hardcore raid.
We recruit good people over good players.
Our interview process is very robust.
Legends Anonymous is very good at making good people good players.
We actually bring people into our TeamSpeak server to interview them.
Part of what we wanted to do was we were tired of some of the bad attitudes that emerge in World of Warcraft.
We're looking for people who share the same mindset as us and our other members of Legends Anonymous.
We were tired of the elitism, and we wanted to make people. We wanted to bring people up and make them into true raiders, and we also wanted to take raiders like us that were fed up with the hardcore raiding scene and show them that, hey, there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's a place here for you. You can still enjoy the content.
I've stayed with Legends Anonymous because
it's the best guild. Why else?
Once you join Legends Anonymous, you're not going to leave.
I have fun, and I haven't had fun in a long time.
I've never had more fun playing any game with any group of people.
Our sole focus isn't progression. Our sole focus isn't gear. It's the people next to us when we're raiding.
I came here because I wanted to raid.
We do more than just World of Warcraft.
it's not just a WoW thing. It's a gaming community.
And I stayed here because of the people.
What makes Legends Anonymous different than other guilds is the fact that we can actually make fun of each other and have fun with it.
Fucking bitch. I love you.
If I were to give Andric a title, it'd be salty.
User was moved out of your channel.
Worthless warrior.
Seriously. It's a shame we've never had a good warrior in the group.
Oh!
Fuck!
Wow.
Damn.
I'm just saying, here's the thing. You know, I first joined like halfway into the expansion.
User was moved out of your channel.
Yes!
You keep a good guy down.
Get wrecked.
Hey, Zell.
What's up?
You're a bitch.
Oh! You know, there's gonna be a fight somehow, some way.
Holy shit,
where
that
I'm gonna
mace is actually
User
an
was
upgrade
moved
for
out
me.
of your channel.
This game has always been about the community and the people you play it with.
Nobody gets upset because it's all part of the fun.
Listen. I understand.
User was moved out of your channel.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah, you won't go back to horses. You got something else to say?
Wow. You have a massive unfair.
User was moved out of your channel. User joined your channel.
If
Go
you
ahead.
don't start death metal screaming, then fucking one of Zell's victims going to.
We were friends for like 3 seconds there.
For 3 seconds, yeah.
Then you fucked up.
You know what? We can always try tomorrow.
No, there is no tomorrow.
It's everything that really the whole experience should be about.
They're like a second family to me.
Honestly, if I hadn't found Legends Anonymous, I would have probably just stayed unsubscribed and never looked back.
And it is probably the best thing that's happened to me in World of Warcraft.
It's everything I'd want in a guild.
We went to BlizzCon.
I had talked about a BlizzCon trip for the guild almost in jest, like, well, let's see if I posted up how many people would be very interested in going. And to my surprise, we had about 7 or 8 people off the bat just raising their hands. Hey, I'm going to go to BlizzCon. I'm totally going to do it.
BlizzCon 2015 was an amazing event.
All these guys I spend 10, 12 hours a week with, hanging out, talking, and chatting, I'm going to see them in person.
And we had known these guys for well over a year, and we were just really, really excited to meet them, and they were really excited to come to BlizzCon.
I took the responsibility to try to give them the best time possible. This may be the only time we ever see each other and we ever hang out. So if that's the case, I want to give them the time of their life.
I was here and I saw a lot of the behind the scenes work and what was going on, and let me tell you, it was as if he was planning our wedding all over again.
I've always wanted to go to BlizzCon in the 8-9 years that I've played the game.
The whole weekend from beginning to end, we were treated like royalty.
They really went above and beyond what any of us could have hoped for.
When we did finally meet and get together, it didn't feel like you were people I didn't know.
I think our camaraderie just really grew that much more.
It wasn't awkward. It wasn't weird.
It didn't feel like I was meeting new people, but seeing friends that I've met before.
My favorite part about attending BlizzCon with Legends Anonymous was definitely Legends Anonymous against humanity.
Probably Legends Against Humanity.
Definitely Legends Anonymous Against Humanity.
It was a WoW-themed card game that had all of our inside jokes in it.
All of the crazy things that we had done or said.
But that was just epic.
It was fun. It was so much fun.
I was laughing the whole goddamn time.
By far the coolest card game I've ever played in my life, and I've had more fun playing that game than I have probably World of Warcraft even.
It was amazing.
Not only did it signify the end of BlizzCon, but it was like the summary of the last 2 years.
To be able to put that together was amazing, and it was so funny, and it's one of the hardest I've ever laughed in my life.
To end the evening and weekend that way, it was the best.
Meeting everyone in real life sort of evolved that friendship.
BlizzCon 2015, I think, took this guild from just being an online community to being a real community.
One of the unique things I think we bring to Legends Anonymous is our leadership structure. We don't have a guild master. My brother and I, we both run the guild.
You know, I don't think you'll find guilds that have 2 technical guild masters.
My brother handles more of the gameplay environment, the raiding, the recruiting, the in-game atmosphere, while I handle more of the social aspects of the guild.
But for us in Legends Anonymous, it works. And I think part of that stems from the fact that we are brothers.
They're brothers amongst themselves. They're brothers with the rest of the guild.
Oh my god. Our GMs have been amazing.
The guild leadership is strong because there is 2.
Marcus and Dr. Legend are basically the kind of GMs that I would aspire to be.
They are the backbone of this guild.
Marcus and Dr. Legend are the foundation.
Marcus, I think, exemplifies everything you want in a raid leader.
Alright guys, so for those of you who are new to this fight, if you get the Fell Surge...
Your Legend, he does the same type of things, but with a little more humor. And he's a funny guy.
Two really easy mechanics. Don't be stupid and don't fuck up.
That's what you guys told me last time, and I still found that hard.
Well, refer to Rule 1.
On one hand, we have somebody who's doing all the behind the scenes planning, and on the other hand, we have somebody who's focused on raid.
Alright, so for the people that don't know this fight, once again, stack points for ranged are on the...
Condom.
Are on Condom and Star. If you're in melee, watch out for the prison. Just kind of strafe out of it. Ranged, also watch out.
Marcus is extremely dedicated in the WoW-based activities.
Thank God somebody knows what the fuck we're doing.
Marcus is a pretty cool guy, but Luis is kind of a dick, so there's that.
Do you honestly think Grand walks around with 2 sluts?
Hell
He's a
no.
pimp.
More
Doesn't
like
he
2
live
blow
with
up
his?
dolls?
Doesn't he live with his mom and girlfriend?
No.
Wow.
God, no.
Oh my god.
My mom lives with me.
It's Grand Frank.
I've been in here for 2 minutes. I already need an adult.
Gear drops, you're just like, no, I don't like upgrades. I don't like more in. More in's stupid. I want to be dumb.
I'm Spect Andric. What do you want from me?
Well,
You know, Legend and Marcus, that's always a lot of fun because they like to pick on each other.
Hey, stop life gripping me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm so close to beating failure, and you guys are fucking this up.
Hasn't our like EPGP like decayed to shit, or did you turn that off?
I have to like physically decay it, so it's like still the same.
Oh, so it's like your fiance.
Wow. Oh my god.
Wow.
brutal.
Wow.
Damn.
There's a lot to be said for creating a sense of community where people actually, really look forward to logging in.
Legends Anonymous is great because of them.
I know they put in a lot of time and effort to the guild. I don't know that everyone stops to think about it, but I think most of us appreciate it.
Everything from the activities we've done in game to activities we've done outside of the game, mainly BlizzCon, shows you what kind of guild leaders they are.
I really do appreciate everything they do, and Marcus and Dr. Legend, GMs of the year. Best NA.
And I just really want to thank Marcus and Dr. Legend for everything that they do.
When I say Legends Anonymous, I wear that as a badge of pride, and not just representing just some guild on a server. It represents everything that we do. It's, hey, I'm a member of Legends Anonymous. I'm a member of this guild with this type of mentality, and this is what I bring, not just to Azeroth, not just to Blizzard, but to anything and everything I do.
I would say my favorite Legends Anonymous moment was...
That's not fair. There's so many good ones.
That's a great question. So many.
My favorite Legends Anonymous moment was the Leggies.
Definitely the Leggies.
The Leggy Awards.
The Leggy Awards were awesome.
Nice.
Welcome, everybody, to the 2014 Leggy Awards.
Leggies was basically an awards night for the guild.
It was so silly.
All right, time's up. Let's do this.
Hold on a second.
What?
You're going off script.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Just stick to the script, Hunter Biscuit.
I am sticking to the script. This is what you wrote.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
You're saying that I wrote these very words on the page that we're reading right now. Don't you think that's a bit far-fetched?
I've got trophies in my day, but I am more proud of this trophy than any other trophy I've ever had.
Today is my favorite Legends Anonymous moment. And the moment before that was yesterday. Every day that I'm with this guild reminds me how much I love Legends Anonymous.
My favorite LA moment is, I would have to say, probably tied between the Manaroth and Archimon kills.
I was present for the first time we downed Manaroth.
Get it. And then all of a sudden, magically, through some trickery and possibly some Death Knight plus Ice Block shenanigans, we got the boss down.
Fucking A.
Look who's still alive.
Holy shit.
Look who's still alive.
Best kill ever.
At the end of the day, we got it done. We got him down. We screamed a lot.
It was just such an exhilarating experience because it was such a close encounter.
To this day, I have no idea why I did not get any neighbor complaints after all that nerd screaming.
Burn, burn, Disco Infernals is a really solid moment. Honestly, anytime Marcus makes bad jokes, it kills me.
We need like 20 priests with like life grip for like Serene and Granny. See if we can only get one gaze, because 2 gays is a porno.
Even if I don't play World of Warcraft for the rest of my life, I will always remember those.
I've never had a bad moment here. I can't think of a time where I didn't want to be here. I can think of plenty of times where I wish I was here.
I guess I'm gonna do the roast because that was probably one of my favorite moments because that was like the first time we did anything like that, you know, as the guild.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is my absolute honor and pleasure to welcome you to the Legends Anonymous first ever Guild Roast.
And we just roasted each other.
Uh-oh, I guess we're missing somebody in the audience. Our favorite other shaman, part of the Wolfpack, Warsteiner. I never thought I'd meet a redneck in Azeroth, but that just goes to show you there are all sorts of surprises here. If Warsteiner were any more of a hillbilly, his taunt would make you squeal like a pig while driving a Mechanier's Ford pickup that says "Get her done" on the back.
Jesus. It was like a bunch of guys that barely knew each other, but we had so much stuff that we could say about each other. It was a lot of fun.
Personally, for me, it's got to be special ed tower team.
When I was trying to organize tower teams and it wasn't going so well,
It's just like what you picture is going on. Everybody's running around.
and all of a sudden we try to shoot up our tower team, and
Out of nowhere, like this Benny Hill music would start playing.
When that music started playing,
And people dying on the tower.
Just chaos everywhere.
All right, tower team, start moving.
I got it.
Oh, this is gonna be so bad.
we couldn't even be mad that we were all dying.
the entire team speak erupted.
Everyone just losing it.
That was funny.
It was so funny.
That just had me in stitches.
I look forward to more special ed tower moments in the future.
And I think it was that moment where the guild had really bonded as people as opposed to just WoW players.
Being a part of this guild, it's not just friends. Legends Anonymous is a family.